Great to be here on this very beautiful day here in Tallinn. First of all, I would like to thank StartSmart and the Estonian Foundation for actually wanting me here as a keynote speaker, and I consider it a great honor to be here. So, what am I going to do today? I'm actually going to give you a toolbox in how to succeed with your business. I'll tell you a little bit about what it takes to become successful and basically becoming a winner. I'll give you a practical toolbox in how to do that. I will inspire you with examples from the music industry and from my past experience. So, welcome. My name is Tobias Edström. I'm 30 years old and I was born in Sweden originally. Even though I've been living abroad for many years lately, that's my home country. And there are many things that I'm actually proud of in terms of my home country. But actually, there were one Swedish man in particular that came to have a huge impact on my life. And it was this guy. Everybody familiar? Yeah. So this guy here is Björn Borg. He's the most successful tennis player ever coming out of Sweden. And this guy inspired me to start playing tennis at the age of 4. What I didn't know at the age of 4 was that the next 20 years of my life would actually be about tennis. When I was 15 years old, I was lucky enough to represent Sweden in the World Championships for juniors in Miami, Florida. Due to the fact that Sweden is a pretty small country, we were only granted one spot in this main draw event. And this spot was taken by a higher ranked countryman of mine. So I had to actually play 3 qualifying rounds to get into this main draw of this huge tournament. While I was doing this, during this whole qualifying weekend, I noticed one little guy, dark-haired little skinny guy, that ran between the hotel and the tennis courts every day. He was actually out there on the courts before me, and he was the last one out there at night finishing up his fitness training or whatever it was. So what I saw in this little guy's eyes was just incredible dedication. And I actually thought that he was a bit crazy. Because why would you waste so much energy when you have the biggest tournament of your 15-year-old life right around the corner? So I qualified, I won 3 rounds, and I beat some really good players. And then Monday morning came around, and I stepped on the court to play the first round in the main draw event. I can tell you that this was the only match that I played at the Orange Bowl in the main draw event that year. And you know why? This is why. This guy stepped on the court. So, Roger Federer, the best tennis player of all times, according to me. Looking to 16 major wins, he is actually the greatest of all times. So, my next question is, why did Roger Federer become the greatest tennis player of all times? According to me, there were 4 factors. First one, talent. He is extremely talented. He was already extremely talented at the age of 15. I had played many older players that were really, really great. But what I saw in terms of shot making, playing this guy I had never seen before. And I knew that this guy will actually become something really great one day. And boy, was I right. Boldness. He is bold. If any of you have followed his close matches against Nadal, Djokovic, or you name it, he is bold. He comes up with the unexpected on the most critical points in the games. Persistence. Also showing what he did at the age of 15, just running to the courts, practicing incredible hours just before the biggest tournament. I remember it was humid, it was 100% humidity back then. It was really, really hot. He didn't care. He needed to get those hours in. And he did. Faith. I saw in his eyes already then, and I see it still. This guy believes, and he believed that he would be the greatest player one day. Some people back then called him crazy. I called it having faith and being dedicated. So, what happened to my tennis career? Why am I here speaking to you guys and not actually getting prepared for the Key Biscayne? Well, I didn't have what it took. I didn't have enough of the 4 factors. I don't know if it was factor 1, 2, 3, or 4. It doesn't matter. But what I actually did have enough, I had enough to actually go and play college tennis in the state of South Carolina. And this is the flag that you see behind me right now. So I went there and I played college tennis, and I graduated with honor from the School of Business, and I finished up as an NCAA All-American tennis player. After I graduated, I went back to Sweden. I needed to get a good job. And the internet has always fascinated me, and the way it actually connected the world. Also, the business sort of opportunities that came along with the internet really fascinated me. So I got into media sales and business development. And it went pretty well. I did that for quite a few years with quite a lot of success. So one day, I got an email from this guy's people. Anybody know who he is? Anyone? It's Daniel. It's actually the CEO and the founder of Spotify. So, he showed me what was the test version of Spotify. Just a very plain, basic version of Spotify. I tried it for about 30 seconds, and then I said, where can I sign? I want to be involved. This is going to be huge. And it was. So I started building sales in Sweden, pitching the brand new ad product to all the ad agencies and clients, and did that with quite some success. So I went on to do the same thing in Norway. Actually promoted the sales director over there. Went on to do the same thing in the Netherlands, but also launching the whole Spotify business and launching the service over there as a country manager. This was a lot of fun. But is it always glamorous? I would say no. This is what I faced coming to Amsterdam. Where do you start? I didn't receive a lot of directions, actually. In terms of the management style in Spotify, it's not about giving a lot of directions. They give some, but it's also up to you to prove that you can actually do it. And you grow with the mission, sort of. So, one thing they actually told me, keep it lean and mean. And what does that mean? Well, it certainly means that you don't want to be this. You don't want to be fat and happy, right? You want to be really hungry at achieving something. So, lean and mean means also don't spend too much money. So where did I go to get the office furniture? Of course, the Swedish pride, right? Furniture to decent prices. Quality maybe so-so, but anyways, it works. So I started out buying a chair. That was all I needed. I needed somewhere to sit. You know, I figured I could have the laptop in my lap, but I needed a chair. So I bought a chair and I fitted it into my little car, and off I went. And then I shipped the other desks and whatever. So started with the chair. So now, besides the chair, what did I need for a successful launch? Please think about that for a minute. I'll get back to it. But first, I'm here to share my experience. But not only about startups. I also would like to talk about business models. Why is business model innovation so important today? Think about that for a second. Here we have this guy, really smart guy, looking into the glass bowl, trying to predict the future. Just like the guy in the movie, The Sixth Sense. You know, he sees dead people. This guy sees dead companies. Sorry. Today, we actually see forces we haven't seen before. We call them rules, new rules of the business game. And why? The world has changed. The way I look at it, it's 6 drivers behind the fact that the world has changed, and we're going to look into all of them, starting with the first one. Sustainability. We all know that the ice is melting. That's nothing new. Global warming is very much an issue, even though some people deny that. Some people speak more about it than others, but it's a fact. It's there. The floods. People losing their home, losing their lives. It's changing. Second driver. Credit crisis. You see this guy, he's pretty nervous. He knows what's about to happen. You know, recession. People losing their jobs, losing their homes. So this slide here shows actually what shape the global economy is actually in. Yeah, it's quite funny, but it's also a bit scary, right? Third driver. It's my turn economy. You guys know that the Chinese word for opportunity and crisis are the same. It's the same word. They consider it an opportunity. So, upcoming markets. It's nothing new. We know they're coming up, but are they really upcoming markets or markets that came up? Looking like this. We know that China has a huge growth to expect in the upcoming years, and we have seen nothing yet, to be honest. Fourth driver. Different customer behavior. We can also call it lifestyle age complexity. Looking at these two guys, what can you tell me about them? Nothing really. You know, this guy wearing the orange, whatever he's wearing, the only thing you can say about him is that he's cold. You don't know if he's a CEO of a large corporation. As far as I know, he is. But he's definitely cold too. So, we're dealing with Generation Y. Fifth driver. The online revolution. The cable that connected the world. The internet. Looking back a few years, we saw this. I mean, what is this? This should be in a museum. But still, it's not that long ago that it actually looked like this. And now, we have sophisticated mobile devices which we live our lives through. Sixth and the last driver, technology. Looking at these brilliant products presented by Apple, it's not that crazy that out of everybody logging into the internet in the US last year, more of them used a mobile device doing so than an actual desktop or a laptop. Skype, a brilliant innovation coming out of this country. We stay connected and do video calls all over the world where we can actually see each other using the VoIP and the computer. That's fascinating. So, once again, the world has changed. Let's look into an industry that I know, the music industry. It's a fact that everybody loves music. just like the slogan Spotify is using. It's true. Every last one of you in here loves music. Everyone in this stadium loves music. Unfortunately, most of us are pirates, which basically placed CDs over here, the graveyard. Actually, it's only a little piece left of the revenue stream to the rights holder coming out of CD sales today. And why? Because you and me expect music to be as running water. So, along came iTunes. And what did they prove? They proved that digital music can be legal. Then along came the iPod and showed the huge potential of mobile music. And this got the attention of guess who? The 4 major labels. So let me ask you this. What do you think that Spotify did to be so successful? I would say 3 things. They realized 3 things. They realized that you and me wanted music to be instant, simple, and free. So, the record labels had no choice. They knew it was either innovate or die. And that was the fact they were confronted with. According to me, there were 2 key success factors for Spotify. First one, technology. It was out there, they had it. A brilliant technology that made it possible to stream music instantly. Timing. The online revolution had traveled far enough for you and me to be ready for a global jukebox, a mobile global jukebox. Sean Parker had pissed off the label execs enough by creating Napster that they were also ready to take up the discussion. Why did it work? Spotify simply figured out their business model. This guy here, he was called crazy by several label executives. I've seen it in person. I've heard it happen. They called him crazy. And why? Because he believed in the freemium business model of Spotify. And when I say freemium, that's both the free version and the premium version. Why did he believe in it so much? He knew that if we could scale the business and get enough users using the free version, that would market the premium version enough. So, looking at Spotify right now, more than 3 million paying subscribers as we speak. If we would have told that to the record labels back then when we were negotiating, they wouldn't have listened, and they didn't. Finally, we were able to persuade them, and that's due to this man right here. He saw everyone from the cleaning lady to the chairman at every label. He was living on an airplane, going between Stockholm, London, and New York, trying to persuade the label execs. And boy, are they thankful today. I can assure you they are. Spotify executed perfectly. How were they able to do so? Brings back to talent. I can assure you that on every position, from the office manager, till the country managers, till the developers, CFO, there are only rock stars on board at Spotify, on every position. Now, how do you get your business model right? Because that ain't easy. If you look at this quote for a second, the past was about choosing a solution. I would say today is about generating options. So, people, what does the Spotify business model look like? I would like to take 2 minutes where you speak to your neighbor about the Spotify business model while I have a sip of water, and then we'll take it up again in 2 minutes. Thank you. So, what is a business model? Or models, business models. What is that? If you Google, you get this. It's not completely accurate, as you can see. We'll try one more time. We get this guy. This guy is called Alex Osterwalder, and he's the author of the book Business Model Generation, which is a global bestseller, and my handbook, which we use as our handbook at Business Models Inc. This book contains a lot of interesting things in terms of business and visualization, but above all, it contains an extremely powerful tool, the business model canvas. The canvas contains of 9 building blocks that I'm about to show you. Where does it start? It starts with your customers, right? Who are your customers? That's the first step in your business model. Followed by the value proposition. What do you offer? Channels. Customer relationships. Revenue streams. How do you make money? Key resources. Key activities. Key partners. And finally, cost structure. So, you guys discussed the Spotify business model. So, let's look into it by visualizing it and see if you guys were far off or spot on. Let's do it. So, customers. Who are the customers? Global music fans, right? Advertisers. Those are the Spotify customers. Looking at the value proposition. Offering access to music via streaming and download. A brilliant ad product that can be targeted more specifically than any other product I've ever worked with. Customer relationships, communities like Facebook. Spotify has about 40 people hired only to take care of the community service, and then also customer care. Looking at channels, carried out by a desktop, laptop, mobile phone. Looking at revenue streams, subscription fees and ad fees. Key resources, the rock stars, right? The brilliant workers of Spotify. Activities, maintenance of the platform. Partners, the record labels. Looking at the cost structure, of course, salaries for the workers, royalties to the right holders, and then cost for bandwidth. So here do we have a visualized business model of a very successful startup. Pretty cool, I think. So what besides the chair did I need? Back to the question I asked you before. What do you think? Team? That's a good start, yeah, definitely. But if, excuse me? Customers, that's also very, very necessary. But in order to get the brilliant team on board, getting the team out to speak to customers, I needed this. A very solid network. Without it, you can't really do much. You can have a brilliant product, but if you don't have a solid network, you don't stand a chance. How did that work out in practice for me? I think this statement is pretty cool. I was actually able to hire a full sales team in 2 weeks. I was able to identify them, approach them, and sign them in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from when I set foot in the country where I went. Was that due to my network? Not so much. Was it due to Spotify's network? Absolutely. So combining all these great people together, you get a really, really great network. And that has been also key for Spotify. I was able to save a lot of money subletting an office through the network. One guy did me a huge favor. So we had very, very low costs in the Netherlands in terms of office for the first year. So that goes back to mean and lean, right? Not fat and happy. Now, I would like for you to consider my key takeaways from this speech. Bear with me. First off, you got to ask yourself this. You got to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself this. How bad do you want it? If you're not willing to work 24/7, and that means really 24/7 on your startup, this is not for you. You should find another solution to your career. Forget the business plan. It's very likely to be outdated by the time you're finished writing it. It's about the business model, not the business plan. Proper execution. Make sure you have enough talent on every position in your company. Mean and lean, once again. You want to stay hungry. You want to be in control of your burn rate. You want to have a bootstrapping idea in mind when you go along. It's about the network. Validate your network before getting started. Do you have all the pieces covered? All areas covered? Make sure of that. If you don't have it, go out and find it. Go out, get drunk in bars with the right people. Do whatever is necessary to get your network. So, if you want help with your business model or a game of tennis, you call me. By the way, startup sucks big time sometimes. Thank you very much for listening.
Hi, I'm Valtteri from Dealmachine from Finland, and we have IT company for sales management software. And it was really interesting. You told that you could hire new sales team in 2 weeks. Like, what was it due to founders' personal contacts, or why was it?
Well, some of them was actually from my network as well. I knew people in markets. I approached them and said, I'm going to build a Spotify team in this market. Which one do I need on board, basically? And then it was just wining and dining, lunching. Just actually pitching the company that you wanted to sort of get them on board to.
Was it salespeople? Were those salespeople, most of them, like working for somebody else in sales position?
Yeah, they were
so
actually.
You were headhunting, kind of.
Yeah, I was headhunting. I approached sales directors, senior salespeople in current great positions. They were making good money. They were happy where they are. We were looking for people that were happy where they were, but that were hopefully going to be happier with us, and we were able to do that.
Good. There's a question, so keep on giving it. No, you don't have so loud voice for stream.
Okay, thank you.
The question is, what is the network, or was it network of your friends, or friends of your friends, or or did you sign in for many places, or get, or were you hunting for a network, or was it there?
Well,
or-
I did the most of what I had. So I knew some people in media agencies, right, in every market, because I've been doing sort of global media sales. So I had relationships with them, and I asked them, because they're media buyers, right? So who are the best salespeople in this market? And I got a long list, and from there I started calling. Hi, I'm Tobias from Spotify. Hi. So that's how it went.
Okay.
Did you send an email or did you call?
So network seems to be a problem.
I think I did both, actually. I love cold calling as well. Just hello. You know, I started with sales, so that's me. So I did that for the most part, and then if they didn't pick up, I send emails. But you know, emails, they actually have a chance to escape. If you actually get them on the phone, you're guaranteed to be able to tell your pitch. So I would recommend the phone.